Go. We are live. So we are live.
That was quick. Well, does that mean that we were not alive a few seconds ago? I'm just
We
curious.
were not alive.
Yeah.
We were not alive.
No
We've
faults.
been resurrected.
I am so glad we're back. I know we took a bit of a hiatus because of life, and we're back. And you know what? Next Wednesday we are actually going to be. Well, we'll see how we're feeling because we might want to go live all together in person next Wednesday because we will all be on the retreat.
Yes.
However, if we're all exhausted, then no. All right, we're going to put our PJs on and put our feet up before we officially start on Thursday. So we'll play it by ear.
I like it. I like it. I'm excited. Oh, there's a puppy. I see a puppy today.
Oh yeah. Chanel.
Chanel.
Yeah. She always has to jump in and say hi. And then in a
Is
moment,
it a Maltipoo? What is Chanel?
Shih Tzu Maltese. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yeah, thank you. The actual adorable one is in her bed over here to the left being quiet.
No. I actually saw the first bullshit
Oh,
the other day.
Okay, what is a bullshit?
A bulldog and a Shih Tzu. And it's called a bullshit.
that's
And
hilarious.
it was really cute. It was a miniature bulldog, so it was precious. I'm like, well, that's actually cuter than I thought it would be.
That is funny.
It was pretty cute.
So how's your new puppy, Charlotte?
Anybody need a beagle? Beagle? Yeah.
No? That's the last thing I need right now.
Right?
So bad. Oh my goodness. I mean, she'd take care of your cats. I feel quite confident she'd make them run off very quickly. Oh, she's bad. She's really bad, which is so funny. Last night, I said to my lovely Alexa in my house, I'm like, actually, it's Google. I'm like, hey, Google, how can I train my beagle? And it said, I can't find that on the web. However, online it says that unlike most dogs who try to do anything to please their masters, beagles don't tend to do that. Like, that is correct. This dog does not give any craps about what we want it to do.
That's
Nope.
funny.
I had a beagle a long, long time ago. I was a real estate agent in Florida, and my kids were about 4 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're 27 and 29. And we had a beagle, and I have never rehomed a dog so fast in my life. And I really feel bad about it. I can't believe I'm admitting it. However, that dog ate everything. It even pulled the pool pump out of the pool and chewed the pool pump.
Oh, wow.
And when that was the last straw, I'm like, that's it. You're out.
She's real bad. I love the fact that we have one person in the chat, and it's my son asking when dinner is.
It is.
Love
Yes, I saw.
Take care of the beagle, Eric.
Just remind him where the refrigerator is.
And my
That was very creative of him.
No, she is definitely not well behaved. She chews on everything, and she is adorable. So last night I brought her into the bed with me. I was tired early. I'd been up really late. So I took her into the bed with me. And if my husband could have grabbed this picture, the way that, I'm sleeping on my side and she comes up with her nose up here, and she's a beagle basset. So she's got those little short legs, paws up and snoring in my ear, which is adorable. And then she wakes up and wreaks absolute havoc from dusk till dawn.
Last thing we need is busy business women. So how's business, everybody? Right? We are kick-ass business women on this call. How's business? And hey, Susan, didn't want to ignore you. Hey, Susan. Yeah, Karen, you first. How's business?
Business is great. It's really good. The rates are kind of getting people to stir a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I would say people are reacting quickly, but they're showing up again, which is great. Really, really fun. Giving us an opportunity to be creative, and really kind of help people make some plans.
Yeah. I know you just recently did a workshop. How did that go? Explain your workshop and how did it go?
Yeah. So the workshop went great. And the workshop was actually about what I was just talking about, how we are in a different scape right now with business. Things are moving at a different pace. And so it was basically preparing real estate agents for that longer runway. And as, Coach and I kind of talked about it before we did it, was for quite a few years, we've been in more of a helicopter mode where, passengers in the helicopter and we're straight up and we're already in flight and everything's happening faster. And now we're on more of a jet with a long runway. And so preparing for that, utilizing that to our advantage to really get connected with the clients and make sure that we're serving them well, as well as planting seeds for future business, and setting up checklist after checklist to make sure that our clients understand what we're doing. And that was not something that was required over the last few years in the business because things were happening so fast, right? I was calling someone to let them know that they'd be getting a contract, and then that their contract got accepted, and then that we were, whatever, all the steps, right?
We had 2 weeks to close or whatever.
Those made daily calls. And now with this longer runway from start to finish, including not just the marketing time, but the lead time with the clients right now is very different. So preparing agents for that is important. And so we had a really great workshop all around that.
Good, cool. All right. So Charlotte, business, and brag about the event you just finished.
Oh yeah, we had a great event. We had a Bold by Design, which was for realtors and lenders. It was really cool just to see the energy there and the people that just wanted to, what you said a little bit, Karen, like they understand that we've got to do things a little bit differently. So it was kind of stepping out like, okay, if you've done it like this is not the time to do it the way you always have. It's time to actually get in, dig in, and stand out a little bit. So we had a speaker that talked about standing out in your business and how you just set yourself apart. Then I did a part about standing out with your voice and your marketing and not being part of the noise, which I love the fact that you just said checklist, because one of the things that I said is if you're good and you've been doing this a while, you probably have a checklist. If you don't, you need to call Coach Tanya. Hopefully you've got a checklist. But the question that I've got for you, and this was my part, was, is your checklist, you said this, Karen, you said it perfectly. Does your clients know what you are doing on your checklist? And I want to say one step further, are you doing it in the voice that you want your client to hear? So if your brand voice is this, do you have that? If you are the person that loves to give to the community, do you have steps in your process that show that? Like, are you showing in your process and on your checklist what you have to do? And we went into that, and that was really cool just to kind of see people put those things together. Like, oh yeah, well that is my brand voice. That's what I do, Right. But maybe it's not in my checklist. It's not part of my, so are you really doing it? Is that the voice that is really being heard? So it was really cool. We had a great time. It was fun. And business is picking up to answer that question. We're all very excited.
Yeah. So I have two questions. So one question, one statement. I love how you said, I love, Karen, the workshop you just did, because it's perfect timing. Right at the end of every week, I told one of my clients today, they said, well, how do you come up with the content for your newsletters? Because I send one out every Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And I said, I listen to the commonality of my coach calls. And by Thursday, Friday, I know what content I'm writing. Mm-hmm. Right. So when I write an article on like this week, the comment, sorry, it's been a long week. Mm-hmm. The commonality this week is, what do I say every week? Mm. First of all, a few people aren't updating them weekly, and that needs to change immediately. Right. And then the ones that are updating weekly, it's like, what do I say after 16 weeks? Mm.
Right. Oh yeah. A much longer process than they're used to communicating. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I love the class that you had, Karen, and man, I wish more people went to it.
Yeah, that would have been great. We answered that question, right? And there's the staple information that you give them every single week because it builds, and that's mm-hmm. important. And there's other information that you give and ahead of time, but you don't give it all at once. It's too much. Right. Yes, exactly. For everyone's sake.
Yes. So next mastermind, that will be a topic for our next mastermind.
And how cool is it now that there's time? So before we didn't have time to really sprinkle that in. We had to just literally pour buckets of water on them, right? Or skip it. That's what often happened, is it was skipped, especially brand voice. So now if you've got a 16-week time, right? Now you've got 16 weeks to, one, show that you're professional, but also show why people like working with you. Like, you can do those little extras for 16 weeks to really we didn't get that before. So it's it's a blessing that you're actually going to get to show off what makes you amazing.
Yes.
I agree on that. And then the other perspective that we brought into the class too is with all of those tasks that we're doing while we're marketing for 16 weeks, there's more than one side to that coin, right? So while I'm out trying to find a buyer for a listing, I'm looking for a buyer. Right. So, and that wasn't the case mostly the last 5 years.
No, so yes, there's the yin and the yang for the long runway, right? Yes, you have sellers that are anxious, not used to this. Many realtors aren't used to this, right? If they got into the industry 2019, they don't know much of having to get a price reduction. One of my clients, I did not realize, has never ever asked for a price reduction, ever.
Wow.
Because he got in the business around 2019.
You didn't have to.
Do you know, and this is not, I'm not saying we're going into a buyer's market because we don't really know where it's going yet, right? We know it's shifting. However, just along those lines, the last year that we were in a buyer's market nationally, you know what year that was? 2012.
I was going to say 2013, so I was close. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a very long time ago. Imagine the agents that have come into the business since then, never ever seen what a buyer's market is like. And
it's time to have one.
It is time. I do think, and this is just my own little prediction, I don't think we're there yet. And I think we're going to have a little more seller rush before we actually settle into a buyer market when rates dip again. Do you agree, Charlotte?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think we're going to see it. And I think everybody's kind of predicting it. So yeah, I think.
It wasn't my own.
Have you started refis yet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, anybody that has 6.5 or up, some people are like, we're going to wait and see if it dips down further. But that's an unknown, right? That is an unknown. And if you can save 1% right now, which we can save 1% for most of our clients, 0.75 to 1%, if your loan amount's big enough. That I keep on telling people, like, you're calling me with a small loan, you paid your loan down to $200,000. It does not make sense for you to refinance unless you're saving a lot of money, right? But for most people, they've got, because of our cost of living, and I mean, you all are experiencing this even much more than in Kentucky, but here it is as well. Most people have larger loan sizes, so that 0.75 to 1%, we are absolutely seeing enough relief that it makes sense for them to pay for a refinance. So I would say we normally we do about 1 to 5% refinances, and it's divorce or cash out, right? So this last 60 days, we've had 30 days specifically. Last 30 days, we're probably at about 30% refi. Wow. So that is a huge increase. Interesting.
So then I need to take your advice and not refi then. Because I was thinking, I mean, again, because my interest rate is 6.8.
But it's going to depend on how much you owe. So if you owe under 200,000, you would want to be at 5.5 before you refinance.
Okay. I owe 150.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It's just not worth it because the loan amount, the savings that you get, you'd have to have it for so long. And I know your goals, you're not going to keep it that long. So.
I get so much grief because I never keep a car very long.
Right.
Like the longest I've ever kept a car is 4 years. So for me, that's a long time. And my kids tease me, mom's getting a new car this year. And sure enough, I got a new car this year.
Right.
Right. Now my home's not so much. My last home I owned for me, it was a long time. It was 5 or 7 years, something like that.
No.
I don't know, Karen, if you remember, but I owned it. That's the longest I've ever owned a home.
I think it was 7.
7. That's what I want to say. And I just didn't want to overspeak. I want to say 7. That's the longest I've ever in my entire adult life owned a home.
Yeah. I'm with you. So, I like to move. I'm actually, I think I'm almost to 10 years at 9, almost to 10 years in this house. And I think my closest to that was 3. So I mean, every 3 years moving to,
Yeah. So Susan wrote in here, in Washington, D.C. and Arlington, Virginia, we have not had a buyer's market in over 25 years. It's time.
I believe that.
That's intense. That's intense.
Yeah, Susan, and it's very similar to that in the Silicon Valley too, which is just so amazing.
Yeah.
But, we used to always talk about the 10-year cycle, and I haven't even heard that talked about for a long time, probably because, we haven't had a 10-year cycle in a couple decades.
Yeah. Sorry, Karen, your name was cut off, so I changed the view.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I just realized that. Yeah. So yes, market is, well, it's always evolving, right? It's never just stuck in mud. It's interesting. So with what's going on in the news, how do you think that's affected business for you at all? As you both know, I coach executives in some of these companies that are in the news, right? I can't say it, but some of these companies, I coach executives with those companies, and it is huge for them.
I would say that I have heard from some of my clients how it's affected them personally, and then also some of my agents. However, I've not seen it affect the business, right? It's just, again, we're back in that relationship kind of mode with clients, which is great. And so they're having opportunity to share some emotions.
Yeah. Well, I know that sometimes when the news hits before the weekend and say there's an open house and someone says it's really, sometimes people are stuck at the news.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody. However, many people do get stuck at, at the news. I know, okay, this is true story. When I was licensed in Houston, I never did an open house when there was a Texas A&M football game playing Austin. Right. Never. There was no way I was going to do an open house, right? Because they're stuck at the TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't think that I felt any of the news impact here. I don't, and that just, it might be that that's not what I attract because people tell me things that, like you're talking about the news and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So obviously it's not.
Man, and most of the time I don't.
I'm so oblivious.
One of my clients today asked me how often, because one of them is affected emotionally by the news, and I asked, how often do you watch the news? And it's like 3 times a day kind of thing, right? I watch the news once a week, and that is a boundary. I watch the news once a week, and then I always, if it's something huge, I hear it. I hear it through my kids or a client or something. I turn on Google and all of a sudden there's something blasted, right? So I do literally watch the news once a week.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, we talked about resting and recharging, right? And sitting down and scrolling through social media is not resting and recharging. And I think that's a big part of it, is the news and the commentary and the soapbox warriors and such. So yes, even the social media, I don't need that too much. Obviously we use it for business and it's really fun to catch up with friends, but it's hard to get through all that other stuff to get to the friends.
Has anybody paid attention, like when you're scrolling, what percentage is actually your friend when it's on social media? I started looking at this. I'm like, it is like 1 in 20.
It's
1 in 20 are people that I actually know. It used to be that when you're on Reels or, that type of thing, it was more integrated. Now I'm like, who is this? Oh, I'm not friends with them. They're just popping up. Like, what in the world? I hate new algorithms. I know that's for business. It is a for-profit industry, but it is very frustrating. I'm like, I just want to know what my friends are doing. Hello.
I'd love to go back to where it was just more about the friends. I would actually even pay for that. I know it's free and I'm not, paying for that, but I would pay for a friend only service.
Yeah, that'd be very nice. That'd be very cool.
I don't know that you could, if it would ever stay that way very long, but that would be nice. In fact, I do have a client who has very strict, like her Facebook is just for friends and family. And she has real strict boundaries around it, whatever settings, right? So like for me, my settings are open because I do advertise my business on Facebook. For her, it is friends and family and it's a boundary.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess it's still possible.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are great about having a business page and a personal page and they keep them very separate.
I don't.
I don't either. I just, when I thought about it and looked into it, it just seemed like a lot more time. I was going to lose more time than I was going to gain.
Yeah.
And I'd rather spend my time getting face-to-face and voice-to-voice with people.
Yeah.
I
like Susan's comment about Doge and people being called back to work. Being in DC has got to be an interesting thing right now. It's got to be. And I coach about 4 people in the DC area that Susan's in. And it's pretty similar what they all say about, when around the government. I don't want to go into politics, but it has been pretty volatile. I can imagine being in DC right now. Yeah. So good for you, Susan.
Yeah.
How's business, Susan? On a scale of 1 to 10, how's your business?
And you can't pick 7.
You can't pick 7.
Had to say it.
My team hates when I throw that out there now.
Yep.
I'm going to get rid of the halo around my head and close this blind.
Yep.
The interesting thing with government shutdowns, if that does happen, is that affects the entire nation, not just because of jobs, but we have a lot of lending programs that require the government to be open. And when that shuts down, last time the government shut down, like USDA rural housing was closed. So you would literally, we had no idea how long to extend contracts for. You couldn't get it. And trying to get, there's verifications that we'd have to do that are government verifications. And if the government's closed, you're not getting them. So that really makes a big difference across there. I don't think there's a state or a person in our industry that wouldn't feel the pain of a government shutdown. It's not fun. It's not fun for anybody involved.
No, I think the universe needs to get back on its axis. It's a little bit off right now.
My business sucked last night, but it'll get better. I like that. Okay. I like that it was so specific. It was just last night.
Just last night.
Good 2 days ago.
That's fair. We all have that day.
Not like the epitome of our industry. We were just talking about that, Susan, how we can come into work and have such a, like the day before is so bad. And then you come in the next day and something amazing happens and you're up on this high. And then 5 minutes later you get, I mean, we are definitely on an emotional roller coaster in this industry.
We are. I always say it is emotionally expensive.
It is. Mm-hmm. That is so true. Yeah.
High and low. High and low. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you ladies have any advice for anybody out there that feels like their business sucks right now? Do you have advice?
Yeah, I would say that even though probably some of the stuff that's sucking, and I don't know about Susan's situation, but when I'm talking to loan officers, and this is more for mortgage, but when I'm talking to loan officers and they're like, yeah, business sucks, business is slow, they're not doing well, it is time to do a shift because that is not the case for a lot of people, which means that you're probably stuck. I'm not saying you're not working. I fully believe that these people are working. They're probably doing things that are not generating the business that they need to do. So I would say, talk to a coach, talk to somebody, because it's out there right now. Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit harder, but there's also some parts of this industry right now that are really good. Like I really like some of in the mortgage side, some of the lending programs that are opening back up. We're seeing things that we haven't seen since the shutdown, and they're doing them better now. Like it's so much better than it was back in 2007 and 2008. But yet we have these new programs opening up. There's just so much opportunity right now that my advice, if you're feeling like if you feel like your business sucks and you're pushing and nothing's happening, it's time to move the wheel a little bit. Start doing something different because it is out there. We're seeing it. It's out there.
Yes. And so Karen, you get to go next, and I'll go because yes, sometimes we have to pivot. We might be working, but it might not be the tact we need now that things have shifted, and we have to change our tack, and we'll start moving along again. And patience.
Yeah. How old is that book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Right.
Probably the first sales book that I read. And that's exactly what it is. It's still there. You just might need to look a little bit different, shift, open your blinders. But I will say I would always, in the case where someone is upset about the amount of business that they have or the way that their business is going, is throw more time at it than money. Because it's really easy when things aren't going well to see something that you can throw money at and think it's like a quick fix.
Right.
And that's what's going to make things go downhill faster, right? Your time, your consistency, showing up is so important.
Well, I think you were on a call today when I was lecturing somebody on consistency. Did I use the C word today? Right?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, consistency. And my favorite sentence, and I use it all the time, at the end of the week, I need you to, everybody, any business owner, at the end of the week, look back just at that week. Would you hire yourself or fire yourself as a business owner?
Yeah. I think we should do that in the middle of the week.
That's good. That's a good idea.
I think we should do it on Wednesday. We should have a check-in. Okay. And that way it's like, oh shit, I need to kick myself in the butt.
Otherwise, Tanya's putting me on a performance improvement plan.
That for the rest of this week.
Because if it's Friday when I'm deciding to fire myself, I'm probably not going to have a productive week. And it's probably
Right. Yeah. We
Right.
need to do it Wednesday when we can actually do something about it.
Or we can go even deeper on Monday, look at the week ahead. And is this a
Mhm.
week that you're going to hire yourself or fire yourself?
Right,
We can
yeah.
just keep
There you go.
going. But I need to start asking that question. Look at your calendar right now. And would you hire yourself or fire yourself?
That's it.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly
And
right.
I'm going to just say right now, any agent, real estate agent who's listening should jump in there on what Charlotte just talked about with different programs that are coming back better. Those are amazing questions to ask and get into a really great conversation with your lender about, because then you have something to go talk about. And whenever
Yes, to your clients. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's a newsletter post or a social
Mhm.
post or a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the above.
And let me just, on that note, I have to read this because I put this on my desk today and I haven't read it to anybody yet, but this is awesome. I think if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
Right.
And I thought that was so brilliant, because how many times does somebody start trying to explain something to you and you just get lost in their explanation because they're lost?
Right.
So go ask your lender the questions, but then make sure you understand it well enough too. Simply.
Right.
I love that.
Yep.
And there are so many opportunities right now between investor loans and things for people that, I mean, our biggest buyers right now are people that are new to the United States. And there are so many programs out there that we have said no for years. And here's the thing. Do you know what like the most common misnomer is for buyers is that they have to have 20% down? Karen,
Right.
Tanya, how long has it been since you needed 20% down to buy a house?
A long
Time, forever, like in my 30s.
I think it's been way before I was in this industry, but just to change, when people heard no for so long, they don't know that opportunity is there. So when you talk about talking about it, you have to say it over and over and over and over. So these new programs, this isn't just a one and done. I'm going to make one social media post. I'm going to go educate it on one thing. You have to repeatedly tell it, especially if that's something that you feel like is an opportunity in your market. You know,
Yes.
if you've got a bunch of people that were first-time home buyers that you helped 5 years ago, and you think maybe they're ready to start investing, that's a great thing.
Mhm.
There's programs out there that were not out there before that can help people invest, but they don't know it because when they asked 3 years ago, they weren't there. So
Exactly.
they think they're gone. So it's repeat. You got to keep on.
You do. And even if you put it on social media, doesn't mean somebody who really needed to see it saw it, right? Not everyone's going to see your post,
Yes.
right?
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There's another big lesson for the day. repeat.
Repeat.
It's so easy if you've made the post to just repost it. So do it.
And
Yep.
you feel like, oh, I'm being so repetitive. I'm saying the same thing. I always tell people, other than your mother, maybe your spouse, the people that you talk with all the time that actually see your post all the time, they might see that you're repeating yourself, but nobody else is. They're not seeing it. They might see 1 out of 10 that you post. That's the reality. So keep on posting it and be repetitive, because it's going to different eyes and ears. It's the bottom line. Thanks to all the advertisements that are now on our social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So Susan put in a long post if you want to look at it real quickly, but basically, right, looks like she lost a seller, right? We've all in one way, shape, or form lost a client, right?
Right.
Who went either unrepresented. I remember I was just sharing this story, and I had buyers, and I've been showing them homes for like 6 weekends in a row. This was a long time ago. Again, I was licensed in Florida at the time, so it's really a long. My kids were still in elementary school, and one weekend we went to Disney World because my father-in-law came into town, and I gave them a list of homes to go see. Right, put my business card, attached them to each one of the listings, so that if they walked in and there was a realtor, they could hand them my card. So I attached it to the listing sheet, right, and I did all the right things. And they walked into a listing, and the listing agent said, if you don't use your agent, we can reduce the price by X amount. And they bought it, paid cash, closed 2 weeks, and I was in Disney World.
That's frustrating.
It's frustrating. And I mean, that didn't happen very often, because this is how long ago it was. But I'll never, and back then a $600,000 listing back then was still a lot of money, but it was super a lot of money, 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, that's so true. So I can tell you what I do in that situation, in Susan's situation. So when something just was like, that was kind of out of your control, right, Susan? That
Right.
just happened. It was something that you worked hard on. You didn't drop the ball. You did everything you were supposed to do. That's why it hurts so bad. It's different when we know we screwed up because we can use that as a learning experience. You did it right and it just didn't work out for you. So here's my advice. This is what I tell my team. What is the one thing that you absolutely love to do in your job? Like when you're out growing your business, building your business, is it the networking, whatever it is that you love about real estate, right? Do that one thing tomorrow. Go do that. Like make time, block it out, and go do the thing that you love, whatever that is, for a little bit of time tomorrow. Because there's something about remembering why, like, this sucks. And there's part of our industry that sucks.
Sure. In any industry.
You
Yeah.
got to go into what is it that makes you love your job. So think about that. What is your very favorite business building activity, right? The thing that you love to do.
That's great advice. That's great.
Not cold calling. So let's not spend the day cold calling, not door knocking.
I don't want to get rejected 5 more times today or something.
Well,
what would you say to Susan, Karen?
Well, first I want to comment on what Charlotte was just saying, that it also puts her in the position that now her mindset is different. She's in a happy place again. So if after doing her favorite thing, she happens to run into someone and has the opportunity for a real estate conversation, her default isn't going to be last night that sucked. It's going to be again about the love, which is the space we need to be in. Right. So, and I do agree with Charlotte, you did everything that you know to do, and this probably just wasn't going to be your client. And in some fashion, at some time, you might learn there's a reason why this didn't happen, which is really hard to take at this stage of the game, for sure. But generally, there's something out there that you weren't supposed to experience with this. And then as far as what I would do, same thing. I'd be leaning into my favorite clients. I'd be calling the ones that, never forget to tell me how wonderful I am.
Yep.
Go to the good side. And if you like negotiating and advising someone on how to get an offer accepted, well, if you've got that opportunity, that's fine. But for business development, then, okay, if you love negotiating and advising, then go put that out there tomorrow. Spend time give a story that you helped with that, put that on social media, or call some of the people that you did that for and they appreciated you for that. Like think of the three people that you did exactly that for, and go call them and make those your calls, because you did that really well. So just dial into what you love.
Go visit a brand new business owner.
Yeah, absolutely.
With them and help give some, coaching advice to, type of thing like that too.
Back then when that happened to me, I had a business coach, and my business coach would say, Tanya, you get a 24-hour pity party. Like for me, I needed a really good night's sleep, but that's it. 24-hour pity party. Then go visit a client, right? Go visit a business owner, go do something positive. And the universe always, would reward me, right, for that. Same thing now in my current business. When I lose a client, I'm sad, right? And it's not fun.
Right.
And I'll do maybe a 24-hour pity party. And the next day I'm making some calls. I'm doing some things positive. And sure enough, this last time, got a new client. Yeah. Right. So it's just like, okay.
That is the amazing lesson that I think most humans have to learn repeatedly, that, sometimes we have blinders on and we don't know it. And someone else will remove those blinders for us by, a certain action. And then we're open to see other things that are there we couldn't see.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. And you're so right about needing it all the time. One of my favorite stories last year, I was in my feels, and nothing made me happier than my teammate looking at me, like somebody that I coach, and I'm saying this to all the time, looking at me saying, okay, Charlotte, get it all out of your chest, go for it. And then we're going to get over it. I'm like,
yes.
That's awesome.
They had to feed it back to me because we need reminders.
We do.
We do need reminders, and sometimes it's that thank you next, right? I remember being at a real estate conference, and that was a big song at the conference, right? Thank you next.
Yeah.
We don't want to stay in the pity.
No.
And doesn't do us any good.
There's a reason we do what we do. If we hated all of it, we're in the wrong profession. So there's a reason we do what we do. Go and remember that. Sometimes, especially if it's been a hard week, when it's been a hard week, it's sometimes it's hard to even want to go do those things that make you feel good because you're just in a bad mood. It's kind of like depression. Like I'm depressed. I know if I went outside and got in the sunshine, I'd not be depressed anymore, but I don't want to because I'm depressed. Go.
Yeah, just go.
Let's go. All right. So we're over a half an hour, which was great. I could keep on going. Every time we get on, we can just keep going and going. However, we are going to a retreat next week, so I have some packing to do and planning to do, and I'm looking forward to seeing you ladies next week.
Yeah, it'll be very fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and it's going to be setting us all of myself included. We're setting ourselves up for super profitable, efficient, effective, fun business growth for 2026.
Yeah, I know. It's almost
we
time
gotta
to
watch
say
that
Happy New Year.
mindset piece. Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Charlotte's family. And anybody listening to this later, because I know I can see quite often people come and listen to this later, and I can see that. If you have any lending questions, coaching questions, real estate questions, right? You want to talk to a phenomenal lender, manager, phenomenal broker, agent, pretty good coach, reach out to us.
She's phenomenal.
We're here to help. We're here to answer questions. All right, everybody. Bye.